Welcome. This is a video on place value of whole numbers. Place value. A digit is a number 0 through 9 that names a place value location. For large numbers, digits are separated by commas into groups of 3 called periods. Each period has a name: ones, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, and so on. So this is the ones period, ones, tens, hundreds. This is the thousands, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. The next period is the millions, millions, 10 millions, 100 millions. The next period is the billions, billions, 10 billions, 100 billions. After that would be trillions. Not shown, but then it would go 10 trillions, 100 trillions. And after that it would be quadrillions, etc. So take a second and pause the tape and make sure you write down this chart. You want to have it memorized. So you want to know that, the fifth place here from the far right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is the 10,000th place. And you want to know that the 7th place is the millions. Well, so memorize this pattern: ones, tens, hundreds. It always goes ones, tens, hundreds all the way through. But this is thousands, millions, billions. So the first place, the ones of each period, doesn't have ones in it, just the period name: billions, millions, thousands, trillions. And then the second part of it is always the millions. So in the 10th place, it's 10 millions, 100 billions, 10 billions, 100 billions, 10 trillions, 100 trillions, etc. Okay, let's go to the next page. Again, if you haven't written down that chart, make sure you go back and write that down before you go on. When a whole number is written using the digits 0 through 9, it is said to be in standard form. The position that each digit occupies determines its place value. So here's example 1. What does this digit 7 mean in each number? So what is the 7 in this place? Well, the first place was, from that chart, previous chart, right, the ones. So it means 7 ones. Okay, if you want to pause and write down the other ones, then we'll keep going. Okay, what does the 7 mean here in the third place value? Yes, it was ones, tens, and then hundreds. So 7 hundreds. What is the 7 in part C? So it's ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Okay, so this was our first period, the ones period. The second 3 numbers is the thousands, and the third period was the millions. So the 7, it's in the first place, and it's the last number, so it's the 7 millions. Okay, writing numbers in words. The procedure for rewriting a number using words: proceeding left to right, write in words the number in each period. Then write its period name. Example: trillion, million, etc., followed by a comma. Then proceed to the next period. Okay, so here's a few notes. Commas are used after each period, except the last period, not after the ones. So after the millions period, we put a comma. After the thousands period, we put a comma. The word and is only used for numbers which have decimals. So you will not write and at any time in these problems. Sometimes we say numbers incorrectly, like the number 450. Sometimes we might say it 450. Some people have a habit of saying that. I know I do. I might say 450, but it's properly said as 450. No and. And hyphens, third note here, hyphens must be used for numbers 21 through 99, except for the multiples of 10. So here's some examples of numbers with hyphens. 23, between the 20 and the 3, you have to have this little hyphen here. If you don't have the hyphen, it could be marked incorrectly on an exam. 57, again, a hyphen between the 50 and the 7. But 40, we do not need a hyphen because it's a multiple of 10. No hyphen is necessary. Also note that 40 is spelled F-O-R-T-Y. Many people spell it F-O-U-R-T-Y, which is incorrect. There's no U in the 40. In 40, the number 4 is F-O-U-R, but for 40, it's F-O-R-T-Y. Okay, let's do some problems. Rewrite the number using words. Okay, you might want to pause and do these on your own, or we're just going to go ahead and do them. Okay, 48. Again, make sure you spell 40 right and a hyphen between the 40 and the 8. So 48. That's it. Next number is 432. Right. Do not write that and. 432. And a hyphen between the 30 and the 2. Oh, this one's got a thousands place and then a comma after it. So it's 5,917. Let's do another example. Again, you might want to pause and try to write these down on your own, and then come back when you're all done. Okay, so we're going to write down this first period, 42. So simply write down the number 42 in words, and then put the period name after it. This is the thousands period, so 42,000. And then you write down the second period, 152, but that doesn't have a period name that you write down. So 42,152. Okay, 3B here. Write down the first period, 215, and then its period name. Well, let's see, what is that period name? The first one is the ones, the second period is the thousands, the third period is the millions, so this would be 215 million. And then write down the next period, 320, and then its period name, which would be 1,000. And in the last period, write down that number with no period name. So 215,320,000, comma, 480. So after the word million, put a comma, after the 1,000, comma, okay, here's our last example on this page. We're going to write down the 19 and then its period name. Ones period, thousands, millions, billions, right, trillions. So we're going to start with trillions. 19 trillion. And then after trillion, then this is going to be 50 billion, 3 million, 500, that's 1,000, so 500,000. Last period is simply 12. 19 trillion, 50 billion, 3,500,012. And after each period, a comma. Don't forget those commas. Well, that's a big number. When we talk about trillions, we're talking about numbers like the federal deficit. When we talk about billions, maybe we're talking about the state deficit, at least state of California. When we talk about millions, well, we might be thinking about winning the lotto. I know, I think about that sometimes. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. And we talk about thousands, well, then we start talking about like what someone's salary is, or how much is a car, or how much is a house, 215,000, 103,000. Let's just go to the next page. Okay, now we're going to write numbers with digits instead of words. So we're changing them from words into numbers. Okay, when asked to rewrite a written number in words into numbers using digits, proceeding left to right, for each period separated by commas, write the number using digits and place commas where they are placed in the written form using words. If a period is not written, write 000 and then continue to the next period. So if we're missing a period, like the millions place or the thousands place, then you just have to write zeros in that place. Okay, we'll get to an example like that in a little bit. So we're going to write down the first, here's our first example, the first period and then a comma. So this is, it says 3 million. Okay, so that's just 3. Now after the millions is the thousands, so we're not missing a period here. 235,000. So we're simply going to write down 235. And then the next period is the ones period 811. So we'll just write that together. 3235, 811 with commas after the million and the thousand. Okay, so let's write down the next one. 4 billion. So let's just write down 4. Now after the billion is what? What period? Right, the millions. That's going to go right after the 4. And it just says 20. But each period has 3 numbers, so we have to put a 0 in front of that 20. Right here, but we'll write it at the very end. 20, and then 3, after millions. What comes after millions? The thousands. And we don't have thousands. So we have to write 3 zeros, and that's because the 000 is for the thousands period. And then the last period is 348. Okay, so we're going to put a 0 in front of that 20. We don't need a 0 in front of this 4 for the place values in front of it because that's the first number. So 4020 000 348. Okay, here we go. 23,893. So we're going to write down the thousands place, and after the thousands is the ones period, so we're not missing any period numbers. So it's 23,893. Okay, the next one, quite interesting. After the millions, we have 93 million. What comes after the millions? Right, the thousands. So we need some zeros for the thousands place. And then after the thousands is the ones place, and that's 49. So we're just going to need zeros for the thousands. 93,000,000, and then 49. We need that 0 to make sure the 49 is in the 9's in the 1's and the 4's in the 10's place. There is no hundreds place here. If it would have said 349, then we would have a 3 in that hundreds place. But it's just 49. We don't want to have 490 because that would be 490. So 049. Okay, that was the end of this lesson. And I'll see you here for the next one.